morning and welcome to another edition of Financial Freeway. We're off to work. We're a little bit later this morning. We're doing our cold dip, and sometimes it's just a little bit harder to get moving after that. You get that body, that internal core temperature down, and it's sometimes hard to move. I noticed it's also getting darker. I wanted to make wearing the sunglasses kind of my thing, but if we're going to be doing this thing in the morning, there's not much daylight left. So we're going to figure out a different way to figure out a way to, I don't know, we'll figure out how we're going to do it. But I like the idea of doing this on the way to work, kind of a way to squeeze it into my schedule. Today, I know last episode we talked about leaning into the things that are uncomfortable and things that you don't want to do. And we all have that list of things that we just don't want to do. And I'll be quite honest with mine. Mine is, well, first of all, I don't like doing the cold dips. And it should be noted that this morning's cold dip was really, really tough for me because it was black. It was 5:30 in the morning when we went into the ocean, and the water at that time of day is black. You cannot see into it. You can't see what's going on in the water. You're in inky blackness, and it's cold, and it's miserable, and I do not like it. It's probably, on a scale of 1 to 10 out of fear for me, it's about an 8. It's way up there because I every time I step into that water, I just wonder what's in that water with me. What's swimming around in the black, inky black depths of that water that I'm standing in. But another thing that I really don't like doing is going into my crawl space. And that's where the furnace is, so if I have to change the filters in the furnace, I have to go into the crawl space, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of going in there, with a flashlight tied to my head and crawling on my hands and knees, as per the word indicates, crawl space. Crawling on my hands and knees with in the dark, and spiders, insulation falling off from between the joists. It's not pleasant, and I'm realizing that as I'm getting older, I have to start really considering about downsizing. So I'm going through the things that I've been storing for the last 30 years, wondering why am I storing these things? What value is it bringing to me? And what am I leaving it for my kids? Because there's certain things I have that have emotional value to me, but they might not have that same emotional value to my children. So I start thinking about why am I, and if it has emotional value to me, why is it in the crawl space? Why is it warehoused away in a piece of Tupperware underneath the house? So I've been going through, and now that I got this beautiful truck, I want to start hauling stuff away to the dump, getting rid of it, going through it, and figuring out exactly what I want, what I need, what I have to keep, what I should be getting rid of, and what over time, like, am I keeping it for myself? Am I keeping it for my children? Certain things that you just have to kind of look at. I don't want to go in the crawl space. I really don't want to go in the crawl space. But it's important to look at those things that you don't want to do and start leaning into them. Because if you start avoiding the things that you don't want to do, like going to the gym, like going to the dentist, going to, paying your taxes. There's a lot of things that we avoid doing because we don't want to do them because they're unpleasant. But the more we avoid them, even as something as innocuous as going into the crawl space to grab, to throw out some old things that you've been collecting all these years, and things like that. It's not going to I mean, it's not like not going to the doctor where things could, get worse by just ignoring them. But it starts to take up space in your mind. And it starts to take up this negative place where you are constantly thinking about it and worried about it and concerned about it. And it becomes this virtual elephant, this figurative elephant in your mind that just starts to be there. And every time someone mentions, oh, crawl space, oh, spiders, oh, I got some stuff I get in storage I gotta deal with, it reacts to you. You react to it, and it becomes this monster that you start hiding from, running from. And that goes for all those things that we are avoiding doing. The truth is that there are things in life that are just plain unpleasant to do. That's it. Like that endoscopy that you have to get done. It's unpleasant. There's nothing good about it. Lean into it. Get it done. Get the physical done. Go see the dentist. What the f*** is this guy doing? Right in the middle of the fucking road. Fuck nut. I'm gonna get in front of him. I gotta put my brakes on. Son of a bitch. Great, now there's all this editing I gotta do. When you start looking at things in your life that are uncomfortable, and make a list of them and lean into them. Lean into those things. Don't make them control them. Tame that beast by facing it head on. By facing it head on, you take away its power and you become in charge. And that goes for everything. It goes with talking to your neighbor about, the property line, or, having those kids have that party that's too loud when you want to sleep and you just don't want to address it. Start leaning into it. Start going towards those things and saying, okay, you know what? This is uncomfortable. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to lean into it, and I'm going to become the person that is not afraid to have that conversation with the boss or your parent. Lean into, make a list of those things and start attacking them. Just look at it and go, you know what? I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. And what happened with me was Monday, I didn't want to go into the crawl space. I really didn't want to go into the crawl space. I got home and Gabby had made a beautiful dinner for me. I went to the gym. I was all sweaty, and I didn't want to go in the crawl space. And I told her that. I said, I don't want to go in the crawl space. I don't want to go into this dark place where spiders live. I'm not a fan. And she agreed with me. She said, yeah, I agree with you. I wouldn't want to go there either. But I did it. I unlocked the crawl space, and I walked in there. Sorry, crawled in there. And my goal was to open the door and grab one box. Because I knew if I could just do that one thing, start the motion of going through there and getting stuff and pulling it out and starting to go through it in the light of day, I knew that if I could just get that one box, I could start things rolling, and I could really take ownership, take control of that procrastination, that fear, if you could say fear, and I don't mind saying that. And I went in there, unlocked the door to the crawl space, crawled my ass in there, and I grabbed a box. And the funny thing was, I went to grab one box. That was my goal, just to go to that point of discomfort. And the first thing, again, when you go into places of discomfort, don't do anything that's going to put you in danger. I would not say that, but go to that place. Like, I know I'm not going to die going into the crawl space. I know I'm not going to die, but it's uncomfortable and I don't want to do it. So push into it. Lean into it. You're not going to die going to the dentist. go do it. Make that appointment. Pick up the phone, call your accountant. Make sure you've got your taxes in order and ready to go. Make that conversation with the Canadian Revenue Agency and talk to them about the money you owe them. Don't avoid it. Oh, and that's another thing with debt collectors. If you've got credit cards or you owe someone money, pick up the phone and talk to them. Have a conversation with them. Get ahead of it. Don't let it become that monster in the closet that you're trying to keep at bay, because it doesn't get weaker with time. It doesn't dissolve and go away. Lean into it. So I went into the crawl space. It was not pleasant. It was exactly what I thought it was. But I went and I grabbed one box. And then Gabby stood outside the crawl space, and I just handed her a box and I said, would you mind if I handed you another one? And we ended up getting a dozen boxes out of the crawl space. It's a dent in the work that needs to be done in the crawl space, but it was done, and we leaned into it, and we got that. So tonight when I get in there and I continue my work, and again, I'm going to work. I got other things to do. I don't want to do it. But the more I do it, the more I attack it, the less power it has on me, the more power I have, and the more confident I get in life in general. If you've got something uncomfortable to do, make a list, start attacking it. Anyways, thanks so much for subscribing. If you haven't, subscribe. Check out my book, My Conversations with Keegan, and like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Have a great day. God bless.